What is going on, everyone? We're going to do a quick hitter here to kind of recap what happened last night. The 76ers clinched the 1 seed. You figured they were going to finally do it, eventually do it against the Orlando Magic after it took a few tries. They don't ask how, they ask how many, and the answer is enough wins to get the number 1 seed, and here we are. I think you need to appreciate the moment and understand that this is only part of the job. This was a goal that they set out in the beginning of the year. We want to have the number 1 overall seed. We want to play through the Wells Fargo Center, and that's exactly what they got accomplished. And it's going to be unbelievable when we finally get more fans involved down in South Philadelphia. It's going to be a hard ask for an opposing team to say, you know what, we got to go win in Philadelphia. That's a hard ask if you're on the other side. So they put themselves in a great position. This is not normal. This is not standard. It's tough. It's tough. It's hard to do to get the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference. So you got to find the perfect mix of, hey, take a step back, appreciate what this team did for you this regular season, and also understand that the job is not finished. There is more to come. And you have to prepare that way without getting your emotions too high. After hearing all the players and whatnot, Joel Embiid saying trust the process after his interviews and whatnot, I think that's what they're doing. They're understanding this is awesome, which is fine. You're a human being. You're allowed to accept the moment and also have your eyes on the prize as well, which is win playoff round 1, win playoff round 2, win playoff round 3, and then win the damn championship. But it's one series at a time. I don't care who they face in the first round. I don't care about the play-in tournament. I'm worried about the 76ers accomplishing what they set out to do in the offseason. So I'm proud of them. I really am. And, you know, there is this narrative out there, though, that because they got the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference, you're not allowed to be worried. They did everything that they did, so you are not allowed to be concerned about anything. They proved to you that they are this great. And I think that that's a flawed mindset. I don't think it's fair to be like so concerned and so scared and like my point is like I'm hearing the extremes of you're not allowed to get upset with anything they've done, or you're not allowed to be upset with Ben Simmons or Doc Rivers, or you're not allowed to have any questions surrounding any part of this team because they won the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference. And then I also hear the Miami Heat, and it's like, why? Because of one regular season game at the end of the year where there were circumstances involved that changed the play, that changed the mindset of the game. When you're talking about game 70 of 72, when Joel Embiid is flying to Miami because he was very sick or he was ill or it was all a lie just to get him rest, whatever the case may be, and you don't have Matisse Thybulle, and one team's trying to maneuver their way through a conference where they don't have to play certain teams, which is the Miami Heat, I'm saying, while the Sixers are just in cruise mode. It's a totally different circumstance. I have questions. I'm worried about Ben Simmons to a degree. I'm worried about Doc Rivers and his rotations to a degree. But even with those questions, I still think that the Sixers are in as best of a spot as any other team. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets. Why is it where they don't have flaws either? They have flaws too. They have problems too. They're not perfect either. So the Sixers, I can bring up some areas that I think they lack or their weaker spots on their team, while still recognizing that, you know what, the Nets might have weaker spots too, that I think you can beat them even with the areas of your team. That doesn't make me feel that they are perfect, that they are 100%. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know, with all that, you're allowed to speculate what could be the downfall. You're also allowed to speculate with the other teams what could be their downfall and how Joel Embiid can dominate so much that maybe it doesn't even matter. I'm excited, though. There's no doubt about it now that they accomplished it. They said it, and it's confirmed, and it's over. Bring it on. Bring it on. Now it intensifies. Now it matters more. Now it's possession by possession. Now you're really getting into the heat of things. You're really getting into the thick of things. Now the big The big boy ball starts, all right? Now it's a man's game. No more garbage teams. No more 10, 12, 14-win teams. No more slop on the court. Well, maybe there is hitting a little bit of the first round. Not so much the dog shit, but the mediocres. You'll see some mediocres in there. That's how the first round goes with the 8th and 7th seeds and whatnot. Handle business. Do what you got to do early. But it's crazy. They have now put themselves in this position where when I think of them, I already overlook round 1. I already do that. Now, round 2, different story. It depends what teams are there. And, Miami Heat, the Knicks, or if there's somehow, some way, another team that ends up maneuvering their way through. And you get a very fortunate thing to occur where maybe you see a team that you would have never envisioned seeing in the second round. I'm not writing off second round or whatnot, but when I think of this team and we talk about it and we dissect it, I think about what are they going to do to beat a top team. I don't think of it as what are they going to do? What are the rotations going to be to beat the Hornets, to beat the Celtics? They can do that with their damn eyes closed. They can. That's what number 1 seeds do. They just destroy and demolish teams that are in the 8th seed. How about last year? Let's use last year as an example, right? How many times did we hear, you don't want to get Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers in that 8th seed. That's going to be a tough matchup for those Lakers. Yeah? After one game, their asses got kicked. So Portland, they gave them a little run for their money in game 1. So the Lakers were down 0-1. And what happened? The Lakers won 4 straight. 4 straight. So it was a 5-game series. Oh, so for all that talk of, you don't want to get a hot Portland team. Well, the whole a team being hot in the playoffs, there's some substance to it. Let's use the Sixers, for example, what happened a couple years ago. They went into the playoffs with, what was it, 17-game win streak or so in that area? Okay, what happened? They won their playoff series in the first round, which, big jump. It was a big jump from where they were to where they were prior, right? It was a big jump. They won a playoff round. And then they got their asses kicked in the second. That's just what it is when you're one of those later seeds and whatnot. So, this Sixers team's too talented, too good, too prepared, in my opinion, to ever have a slip up in that area to the point where they're just too damn good for that. So I'm excited. I really am. It's finally getting to the time here. This past 2 or 3 weeks, look, I've been doing this for a long time, right? Breaking down Sixers games, game by game and whatnot. And this was the first time in quite some time that it was that dreadful. It was that boring. It was that awful. But that's the price you pay. And I'll take that price. Because the price you pay is this. When you're very good, when you're a top team in this league, there's a mode where I don't care anymore about beating this garbage team on Tuesday. I don't care. I care about a 7-game set against a really important team that has a good coach, that has a couple superstars, and that's deep. That's what I care about. I don't care about beating a Memphis Grizzlies team. I don't care about beating some of these other teams. I don't care. That's the price you pay when you are a legit contender. So I'll take that payout any day of the week. We'll obviously be talking more about the 76ers as the weeks move forward here. And, of course, you have the play-in tournaments and whatnot. So we'll have those discussions as time passes on, if you will. Another thing that happened last night, the Phillies win. The Phillies win 5-1. It was a grind early on. Matt's getting strikeouts out the ass. The Phillies just kept striking out nonstop versus Vince Earrings Velasquez. I guess my man forgot to take out his earrings. I'll tell you what. Look, we've been hard on Vince Velasquez. Our entire fan base has, the entire city. I even said earlier in the season, I just don't want to see him ever again. I don't care. Matt Moore might blow. I'd rather have Matt Moore blowing than keep going through this Vince Velasquez train. I'm not telling you I'm committed. I'm not telling you that I'm full in on Vince Velasquez. He's had a couple nice outings in a row, though. And if he gives you this, it's manageable. Can I expect him to fully be this based off of what we've seen? No, but I'm willing for him to prove me wrong at this point. He's been strong. Look, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, walked 3, 7 Ks and 94 pitches. A couple times he got out of some things early on. Bo was on third base, got out of that. There was a nice double play, Odubel Herrera out in center field, and they tagged him up on a double play at second base. So getting out of some jams there early on. It's funny, Jeff Mosher, who covers the Eagles for Inside the Birds, he texted me after the 5th and said, please don't put Vinny back in there. We've seen enough. He got through what he needed to get through. Don't push it. And then, of course, in the 6th inning, what ends up happening? Vlad Guerrero Jr. takes it the other way for an oppo-boppo, and it's 1-0. But I supported the move. After the 6th, I would have pulled him. No matter what his numbers were after the 6th, I would have yanked him. I actually supported putting him out there, though, for the 6th inning. He did not get through it. Connor Brogdon stepped in and got his 4th win of the season. Another solid for Connor Brogdon. I think he's slowly transitioning back to, not really slowly, it's been pretty much just one bad outing. So Connor Brogdon, it feels like he's getting his confidence back, though, a little bit of his swagger back. I supported putting Vinny V back there. At the time, I remember saying, Moshe, he allowed 1 hit. Whether we feel a certain way about him, he has 1 hit through 5. They're probably going to throw him back out there. And he got 5 2/3. And look, even if you don't score, at the time it was 1-0. You didn't score. So if Vinny V gives you 5 2/3 and allows 1 run, you take that any damn day of the week. That's a solid performance out of where Vince Velasquez is in your starting rotation. So I personally don't really have a problem with it. It's just funny, though, how Moshe kind of called it out before it actually played out that way. You did have a chance, though, with bases loaded, JT Realmuto. I think that was in the bottom of, it was in the 3rd. I guess it would be in the top of the 3rd because they were away, of course. McCutchen walked in a very close pitch, very generous pitch to get him on first. Segura gets a hit. Kutch went to 3rd, 1st to 3rd. Harper got a walk. Very close pitch. It was even in the strike zone, and he check swung, and they gave him the walk. So it was very wonky. I don't think the Phillies deserved to even get a run in that area, but you ended up getting a run in that area. Or no, you didn't. No. You didn't. No. Let me. I didn't think they deserved to get a run in that spot, and they didn't. It was like the baseball gods were on their side, the Blue Jays side. JT grounded out, and that was that. 7th inning is where it all happened, though. Lots of walks. Andrew Knapp walks. Segura walks. Bryce Harper walks. JT Realmuto, with an amazing at-bat, falling behind, grinding back, walks in the tying run, and from there, Rhys Hoskins delivers in a big-time moment. You know, his OBP isn't where we want it to be. He hasn't been as strong with the walks and whatnot. He went from one extreme to the next when it goes from walks to no walks. But clutch-wise, he's given him some really monster hits. He blew the game wide open. Phillies took a big lead. Bone provided a hit after that as well. And you were talking about a 5-1 victory with Vince Velasquez. If you win with Vinny V, you set yourself up. That's what it's all about. Win with your bad pitcher. Now you have Aaron Nola. I mean, here we go. You're winning game 1 of the series. There's this theme going on right now. You're winning game 1. Win game 1, that's huge. Keep winning game 1. You win game 1, you put yourself in a good position. Especially when you win games with Chase Anderson, with Vince Velasquez. That's what you need to do. Win games with those guys. I mean, that's what good teams do. That's how you put yourself in a phenomenal spot. What do you say heading in? Well, if you can win with Wheeler, Eflin, and Nola, you can sacrifice a loss here and there. That's going to happen. It's inevitable with your back-end starters. But what happened if you win with your back-end starters? Now, that means, sure, there's going to be hiccups. Nola's going to lose a game. Wheeler's going to lose a game. And remember, Aaron Nola coming off that Sunday Night Baseball game was tragic. He was piss poor in Atlanta. Luckily for him, he's not pitching in Atlanta. He has the woes, the scares. I don't know what you want to call them. He's got He's scared. He's scared of that ballpark. He gets murdered in that ballpark. That has to change. Luckily, you're not there, though, Aaron Nola, so he's going to have to come up big. Look, this team's winning baseball games. They're 21-18. You already see the 08 Phillies account saying back in 08, the Phillies were 21-18 as well. And I love that. We're back to that. As soon as I saw it, I started laughing. Every year you go through that where, hey, back at this time, after this amount of games, X amount of games, the Phillies were this in 08. So, of course, the correlation is the Phillies are going to go win the World Series, right? It's good to see the Mets fall. They were hot. You got to cool them down as much as possible to kind of help the Phillies climb back in and whatnot. So, yeah, that's kind of your quick hitter, if you will, of what happened yesterday. Got a lot kind of going on this weekend, so I'm just maneuvering around and, making sure I get get some talk out to you, whether it's a full pod or just a quick hitter. I'm a man of the people. A man of the people. So thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.